So welcome to our presentation today. We are going to be going over some Q&As. One second. We're going to be going over some Q&As on popular questions that students have for us regarding undergraduate studies, studying abroad, submitting applications, picking a school, how faith is related to curriculum, and how faith institutions differ from non-denominational institutions. So without further ado, let's get started. For everyone who I should have introduced myself at the beginning, my name is Marco Briganti. I am the virtual coordinator here at Worldwide College Tours. So, undergraduate studies. What types of certificates can I graduate with? So the types of certifications you graduate with are going to be dependent on the program you choose to study. The most common is an undergraduate degree and often involves 3 to 4 years of schooling. If you want to continue in a graduate program post-graduation, you'll first have to complete an undergraduate degree. However, a lot of schools offer 1 to 3 year long certificates or diploma programs. These are different levels of certificates and diplomas, which are dependent on the school and program. There you go. So we have undergraduate, which is 3 to 4 years. Required in order to complete the graduate, and then we have the certificate and diploma, which range from 1 to 3 years, and they have different levels depending on the school and the program. So, is fall the only time I can begin my degree? So, although most programs have a fall start date, there are many colleges and universities that offer January start dates as well. If you miss the application deadline to begin in the fall, it would be a good idea to review the program you want to take to see if the school accepts new students from January for January as well. If it does, that's great. And you'll be able to continue with your educational timeline. Depending on what you want to study, you might be able to begin electives in January if you cannot start your actual program. It is always a good idea to confirm with the school with what options you might have for a later start date. Next question. Are there specific courses I can take in my first year? This is completely dependent on the program you are taking. Some programs are core classes that you have to take each term. These core classes mean they're a mandatory requirement for your program. They're often taken in succession, so you need to take the beginner level before you can take the next one at a higher level. You can expect these types of classes during a certificate or diploma program, as they sometimes have determined schedules to complete the program in time. If your program has these core curriculum classes, then yes, there will be specific courses that you should take in your first year. However, some colleges and universities have mandatory courses that you're required to take in your first year. These often include English, math, science, history courses at a 1000 level. Okay, studying abroad, our next category. So, is it expensive to study abroad? These are there are different factors to consider when thinking about whether it is more expensive to study abroad versus studying in your home country. The tuition for international students can sometimes be higher compared to domestic students. However, colleges and universities offer a lot of support for international students regarding things such as immigration, international education, international applications, and more. There are many scholarships, grants, prizes, specifically for international students that you can apply for to help with the cost of your international studies. There you go. It can be higher compared on the country, but there's lots of support, grants, scholarships, prizes. Okay, what is the average cost of tuition in Canada versus the USA for international students? So on average, the cost for an international student to study at an undergraduate level at a university in Canada versus the US is similar, with the US being a bit higher. For Canada, the average cost in Canada for an international student is around 22,500 USD per year, whereas in the States it can range between 25,000 to 35,000 USD for public universities. These numbers can differ drastically depending on the school, whether it's public or private, college or university, and so forth. The type of program you choose will also determine the average cost, with diplomas and certificate programs often being a little less expensive compared to the degree programs. Next question. Do I have to take a full-time program to study abroad? So not necessarily, but it might impact things outside of your studies, such as work eligibility and post-graduation permits. Uh, for example, in Canada, they have a post-graduation work permit for international students, but it requires you to have studied full-time throughout all your academic terms to qualify. As well, some student permits and visas will allow you to study part-time during the summer months, but expect you to study full-time during academic years, which is September to April. If you choose to begin your international education as a full-time student, but then want to drop down to a part-time, part-time, we recommend speaking with your school's international student advisor before making any decisions. So, next question. Do schools provide housing for international students? A lot of colleges and universities will have resident housing that you can opt in for. They are an additional cost and are paid for at the time of your tuition. You are not required to live in residence, but they are a great option to consider because you do not need to be worried about paying rent every month. Residence is often on campus or near campus, so making it to class on time is easy. As well, you get to live surrounded by other students, which helps build a sense of community for you in your foreign country. If you choose not to live on residence, that's okay too. You will likely have to find your own housing. However, the school's international representative might have advice on where to look. It's always a good idea to do your own research as well regarding safe areas and transportation accessibility. So when should I begin the application process? We recommend beginning the application process as soon as your school opens up applications, which is usually a year in advance. This gives you plenty of time to get all required paperwork completed, as well as completing any type of additional tests or courses that might be required. For example, if you are from a country where the national language is not English, but you want to study in Canada, you will likely have to complete an English language proficiency test, Doing this in advance will give you room to practice and retake if you need to get a higher score. The next question, can I work while studying abroad? So working while studying abroad provides you with a unique experience as you get to not only make money, but you also get to experience the local culture. Though there are going to be stipulations regarding working while you study on a permit or visa, student visa, for example, or for some countries, you can only work up to a certain number of hours, or you can only work on campus for a certain period of time. While at the same time, to work at all, some countries will require to have an additional visa. So there you go. What are colleges and universities looking for in an international application? So generally speaking, they are looking for students who can successfully study in the language of the institution or of the instruction. However, aside from the standard application requirements, post-secondary institutions are looking for students who stand out. When you're applying to a college or university, you're essentially telling them the story of who you are. They want students whose transcripts shows that you are able to apply yourself and take your studies seriously, while also showcasing that you are more important than an application. Highlight your extracurriculars and make yourself stand out. Do I need to take an ACT or SAT to study in the States? Technically, no, unless your school specifically requires it, but for the most part, it's not required. However, it will make your application stand out to admissions representatives. Additionally, it can also heighten your changes when it comes to applying for grants, scholarships, prizes from the government with other organizations. Do I need to take an English language proficiency test to study abroad? The answer, whether you need to take the English language proficiency test is dependent on a couple factors. The country's national language in which you are applying to, and your specific school and program's international application requirements. If your national language is not English, but the school you want to study at is located in a country where the language is English, then the chances are that you will be required to take an English test. Uh, there are many different options for this, with the most popular being TOEFL, uh, test of English as a foreign language, or the IELTS, which is the International English Language Testing System. However, some schools in the US might waive this requirement if your ACT or SAT scores are high enough. As always, check with the specific school and program you're applying to, as they will be different scores that as they are required. How do I apply for my visa? Do I apply through the school? So once you have been accepted by a post-secondary institution, then you will apply for a visa or a study permit, depending on the country you're going to. You will not apply for it through the school, but instead through the country's government website. Some countries will have the study permit and visa separate. For example, if you study abroad in Canada, you apply for a study permit, and once you are approved, then they will automatically give you a visa. The most important factor when applying for a visa or permits is that you must first be accepted into a program at an accredited post-secondary institution. Okay, the next category, submitting your application. So the first question. How do I send the college or university my transcript? Answer: you will need to provide the college or university with an official transcript. These must be sent from your high school administration office or from your guidance counselor. The transcript cannot be sent by a photocopy from you, nor can you have your school send you the transcript and then mail it to the college or university. If you are in grade 12 while applying, sometimes the colleges or universities will ask for a temporary transcript and then an official one after you've been graduated. Your guidance counselor at your high school should be able to provide this for you. Picking a school. So, first question, how do I know what school is right for me? The right school for you will be one that has the program that speaks to your passions and interests. Of course, there are many schools that have similar programs for a popular interest, such as business, for example. So how do you narrow it down? One way you can do that is to speak to the admissions representatives from the school to receive more details about the program itself. As well, attending virtual tours will give you an idea of what the school and campus are like, and which will help you decide which school is right for you. What should I be looking for in a college or university? Follow up to the previous question. It is recommended to ensure the school you plan on attending has international advisors in place to help you through the transition and application process. As well, check the school's values and mission statements. If they are things that you agree with, then that's great. However, if they are not, then that is not the school that you feel comfortable. It is also never a bad idea to look at the list of alumni to see the success rates of their students post-graduation. This can add to the school's credential and either give you something to hope for or be wary of. So, how faith is related to curricula. Moving in. Okay. Well, faith-based institutions will incorporate their religious beliefs into their teachings. Depending on the religion, what this looks like will vary. Generally speaking, though, you can expect your religious beliefs, values, purpose implemented into various classes. For example, Christian colleges or universities might incorporate the teachings of Jesus Christ and the life of servitude with their teachings. Faith-based institutions might have mandatory religions as well. Okay, so how do faith-based institutions differ from non-denominational? The first question is, will I still get the same quality of education at a faith-based college or university compared to a non-religious one? So absolutely you will. If you are attending an accredited university or college abroad that is faith-based, your degree, certificate, or diploma will just be legitimate as other institutions, ensuring that you are just as employable post-graduation. Programs within a faith-based institution still have to follow the same regulations and curriculum guidelines as non-denominational institutions. As well, professors still must have their credentials that make them eligible to teach at a post-secondary level. What types of classes can I take at a faith-based institution? In general, you can take the same type of classes as you would elsewhere, but with faith incorporated into the teachings, However, a faith-based school will likely offer you religious courses where you can grow your faith and understand your religion on a more extensive level. Last question. What types of certifications can I graduate with at a faith-based school? What you graduate with will depend on the school and your program, the program you choose. Faith-based institutions have come a long way, and you have the possibility to grow a degree, diploma, graduate with a degree, diploma, or certificate. If you want to take your education even further, some faith-based universities also have graduate and doctorate programs in a variety of fields. So you can achieve even more while still practicing and learning about your faith. Thank you. And if you have any more questions, feel free to send us a direct message on our social media and check us out on our website for more fairs. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.